Pacman Jones went off on cops during his public intoxication arrest earlier this month, unleashing a verbal tirade on them before throwing elbows at one. And his wild behavior was all captured on police video that TMZ Sports has just obtained. Cops initially stopped the former NFL star in Covington, Kai, on June 7 to question him about a dispute at a nearby bar. And almost immediately, Jones became combative. You can see in the body camera footage, he raised his voice and attempted to walk away, but he was able to briefly calm down to explain his side of the situation to officers. He stated he and his group had gotten into a spat with a bar worker, and then once he finished saying his piece, he tried to walk away again. That's when Jones was placed in cuffs. While in custody, Jones cussed endlessly, insisting he did nothing wrong. He questioned officers over and over again about why they were talking to him, and despite being told it was because they were conducting an investigation, he still appeared to be uncooperative. Jones was eventually thrown into a squad car for public intoxication and disorderly conduct, and throughout his ride to jail, he sounded off on the officer. He repeatedly told the man to shut the F up and suck my D. He also called the cop stupid and a coward. The insults flew for roughly 30 minutes at the jail. Jones seemed even more agitated. And you can see in the video, he did appear to try to hit a cop in the face with several purposeful elbows. One apparently landed flush on the cop's mouth, as the officer can be heard in the video noting, "My lip is bleeding." Jones was ultimately hit with 1 count of assaulting a police officer, 1 count of public intoxication, and 1 count of disorderly conduct for his actions. He pleaded not guilty to the charges in court on June 11, and while the footage may have shocked those who haven't followed Jones' story closely, those familiar with his long and complicated history weren't as surprised. For them, it was yet another chapter in a deeply conflicted post-NFL life, a raw, unscripted moment that seemed to perfectly reflect both the torment within and the chaos that tends to follow wherever Pacman Jones goes. To understand how this moment came to be, you have to rewind through the turbulent timeline of Adam Jones' life. Before he became infamous for outbursts like this, before the body cam footage and courtrooms and controversial headlines, he was just a gifted young man with a dream, a pair of cleats, and more raw athletic ability than most people could dream of. But sometimes, talent isn't enough to protect a person from themselves. Jones made a name for himself at West Virginia University, dazzling fans with his explosive speed, aggressive defensive play, and natural instincts. He wasn't just good, he was electric. His performances caught the eyes of NFL scouts, and in 2005, he was drafted 6th overall by the Tennessee Titans. At just 21 years old, he was on top of the world and perhaps unprepared for the weight of that spotlight. But from the very beginning, trouble seemed to orbit him. Legal issues piled up, many involving nightclubs, fights, and alcohol. He was suspended from the league for an entire season in 2007, a move that should have been a wake-up call. Yet time and again, Jones found himself in situations that spiraled out of control. For all his talent, his inability or perhaps unwillingness to control his temper and walk away from conflict plagued him throughout his career. And that brings us back to Covington, a place where time seemed to stand still for a few brutal minutes on a summer night. The video footage is difficult to watch without feeling the discomfort. It opens not with violence, but with tension, the kind of thick, simmering tension that builds before something explosive. The bar behind him is dimly lit, its neon glow flickering, casting shadows over the sidewalk. Jones stands with his arms slightly raised, gesturing sharply as he addresses the officers. His voice is tight, his speech slurred just enough to raise concerns. And there's a tremor in his movements that suggests the anger is just barely contained. "I didn't do anything," he snaps, louder this time. "Why the are y'all talking to me?" The officers.com at first try to de-escalate. "Sir, we just need to ask you a few questions. There was an incident inside the bar." "I don't care what you heard," Jones interrupts. "I told you what happened. That's it." Moments later, the handcuffs come out. The second his wrists are secured behind him, his demeanor shifts from combative to venomous. The insults begin almost instantly, a cascade of vulgarities hurled at the officers as they lead him toward the squad car. And it doesn't stop there. Inside the cruiser, Jones rocks back and forth, restrained but not silent. His face is twisted with rage, his voice is hoarse but unrelenting. The car is filled with profanity, with degradation, with rage so visceral, it feels like it might ignite something more than just words. Shut the F asterisk 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 up. Don't say a word to me. He spits the words like poison, aiming them with precision. Suck my D. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Coward. Yeah, I said it. F asterisk 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 in coward. The officer says nothing, eyes fixed on the road ahead. But the silence only infuriates Jones more. For nearly 30 minutes. He rants, the fury pouring out like it's been trapped inside him for years. And maybe, in a way, it has. Maybe this is about more than just that night. Maybe it's about a lifetime of fights on the field, in the streets, in his own mind. When the car pulls into the jail's Sallyport, the scene doesn't cool down. If anything, it escalates. Jones is pulled from the car, still cursing, still flailing against the restraints of authority. Inside the booking area, as officers try to process him, the confrontation reaches a boiling point. Body cam footage shows him twisting his upper body suddenly and throwing his elbows toward an officer's face. One lands hard, and the cop recoils, staggering back slightly. His lip visibly split. "My lip is bleeding," he says, more stunned than angry, as fellow officers close in. Jones doesn't apologize. He doesn't flinch. He just glares, breathing hard. Eyes wild with adrenaline and resentment. He's charged assaulting a police officer, public intoxication, disorderly conduct. The trifecta. When he appears in court days later, he pleads not guilty, jaw clenched, expression unreadable. But beyond the legal consequences, there's something far more tragic here. It's not just another arrest, it's a reflection of a man at war with himself, a man who's spent years bouncing between redemption and relapse, a man who's never fully escaped the shadows of his past. For many, this incident confirms what they already believed about Adam Jones, that he's aggressive, unhinged, unpredictable. But for others, it raises painful questions. What happens to athletes when the crowd is gone, when the pads come off, and the identity they've worn for years dissolves into something unfamiliar? What happens to a man who's known only conflict, adrenaline, and fame, and is now left only with silence, pressure, and a past that won't stop haunting him? This isn't just a story about a man yelling at cops. It's a story about mental health, trauma, and identity. It's about what happens when rage goes untreated. When pride keeps you from asking for help. When the only emotion you've ever been allowed to show is fury. Friends and former teammates of Jones have long expressed concern. Some say he's always had a short fuse, but others believe he's fighting deeper demons: depression, anxiety, PTSD, things that don't show up in stats or highlight reels. In interviews, Jones has admitted he's struggled. "I've seen some dark asterisk, he once said. "People think they know me, but they don't know half of what I've been through." That night in Covington may become just another headline, another court date, another suspension of belief in a man who once had it all. But for Jones, it might be something more, a mirror, however shattered, showing him a reflection he can't avoid anymore. The footage ends not with a resolution, but a question mark. A man once celebrated for his agility now sits motionless in a jail cell, his fate uncertain. The future, as always in Pacman's story, hangs in the balance, poised between chaos and calm, defiance and redemption. And the world watches, again, wondering if this time will be different.